Good morning, everyone. Thank you for making the journey. Some of you have come a long way, some of you have just come from down the road. Thank you for joining us today and for the first inaugural annual Landlord Farming workshop. Very good book this is.
What is that?
The book is Epic Content Marketing by Joe Pulizzi. Where is it? The essence of this strategy is the belief that if we as businesses deliver consistent, ongoing, valuable information to buyers, they ultimately will reward us with their business and loyalty. Middlesbrough landlords are interested in the Middlesbrough property market. Doncaster landlords are interested in the Doncaster property market. Wimbledon landlords are interested in the Wimbledon property market. If you are an estate agent, the best bit is all your homeowners live in your area. As a letting agent, 50% of your landlords live in your local area. That is factual information. Anyone disagree? Slightly different in Fitzrovia. Ben, where are you? Can't see you. Hello, Ben. Your job is to make landlords want to come and talk to you by talking about something that is of interest to a landlord. Let me pull up the screen. All of you should know this. That is the Landlord Farming. That is if there's one slide that you take away from today, it's this one. So, the best way to describe it is this. Your job, as I said, is to make landlords want to talk to you. The landlord is on one side of a big raging river, and you are on the other side of the big raging river. And you, what most letting agents are doing, is shouting from one side of the river saying, come and use us. The river isn't that bad. Come and use us. You won't get washed away. And people are going, you think I'm going to risk, I've got to take half a day off work. I don't love my letting agent, but I'm going to take half a day off work. And you want me to go to the agent, have that nasty conversation with the corporate saying, you know, people don't like confrontation. And then I've got to get the set of keys. I've then got to ring up the tenant saying, hi, it's your landlord here. I'm the chap that you pay, the one that doesn't fix everything. Do you mind going to the new agents? Do you mind going to your bank and swapping your standing order over? Oh, by the way, my new agent doesn't necessarily like the deposit scheme that you're in, so I'm going to need you to give the deposit back and then hopefully you give it back to them. And then I also need to sign a new AST. It isn't going to happen. That's why landlords don't swap. If someone likes you, they'll listen to you, but if they trust you, they'll do business with you. What you have to do is make them want to come and talk to you, and this is how you do it. That is too big a gap. But what you need to do is put some great big stepping stones in this river. So each gap, each jump is really small. Remember, the two things that turn a landlord on, what's happening to the local property market, to my property, and the second one is where's the next sexy one I want to buy. All of you here write articles, or I ghostwrite them for you, or you write them yourself, about the local property market. And that is the content. That is what is of interest. And your job is to get that content out to as many people as possible so they read it and they're interested in it. Like I said, none of you were interested in Grantham, but South Ockenden people are interested in the South Ockenden property market, as are Epsoms, as are wherever you live. And what you do is you get those articles out in as many ways as possible. Newsletters, newspapers, Rightmove, social media. all saying, this is of interest. All of you do newsletters, don't you? I should hope you do. I won't embarrass anyone by saying, but let me just move that. If you're in Bury and you're interested in the Bury property market, here is your newsletter. Again, my apologies for people who know all this, but some of you are babies in this. Notice what's lacking from the front is a logo. Nobody cares. You put your logo on the back. There's many different channels that you can do to get your message out there, to say to people, like it says on the screen, to say to people, come and use me if you want to come use me now. But if you're not ready to do business with me, I've got this thing over here called the Grantham property blog, or whatever town that you're in. And on this property blog, which is almost the best way to, so for those of you who still don't get blogs, the best way to describe it is just like an online diary. A diary where you write what's happening in the property market, because you are the local property guru. You're not trying to sell anything. And on this property blog is, here's one story or two stories, but on this property blog there's 30, 40, 50, and you'll love it. Now, you say to someone, here's one story, but if you like more, come to the property blog. Is that a big jump to go from a newspaper or a newsletter to a blog? Is it? Not really, is it? But notice how all of a sudden, by them grabbing the attention of the newsletter, the newspapers, and social media, and you're saying to people, come to the blog, all of a sudden, look at the distance between you and the agent. And the purpose of the blog is people aren't ready to do business with you, but they want to get to know you better. So why don't you give them a place where you bring them closer to you without actually having to pick the phone up to you or email you? And that is why you have your town blog. Because that's the blog won't generate any business for you. It's kind of the building up the trust element. I mean, would you say Sir David Attenborough is a trustworthy bloke? Who's met him? Why is he trustworthy? Say again? He's an author. But what he writes, is it pretty interesting? Good stuff. Too right, because he's a nice person and he's passionate. He's an expert in his field. You've seen the articles that I write or I've taught you to write. They're not talking about Section 8 or Section 21. I'm sorry to keep coming back to my little fool ball. They're not talking about the London property market. They're talking specifically about your local town's market, and there's nothing more interesting if you talk about the local property market. Have we got the mic, Mark? Have we got the mic? Is it live?
Yeah.
You've just had an email, haven't you? Do you want to tell the people what was said on the email? Sorry? Do you want to come up and just tell us? Come on, let's have you. Ian from Epsom.
I was just downloading some messages here, and Paul Brown emailed me from my Epsom property blog from yesterday saying, good morning, Ian. I have recently stumbled across your informative, and that's all I've got so far, but I'll get the rest of it later. But it just generally works. Generally does.
Anyone else got any good news stories that they want to share? Chris, come up to the top.
Ian, how long have you been doing it? Now, when did we start? About February?
Yeah, about February time. There you go, Chris.
Excellent.
Tell the people.
Yeah, hi. Had a bit of contact from some solicitors in the local area who've been reading the blog and just emailed me to say that they're very interested and they'd like to see more stuff coming out. So they're very keen to see when the next thing is coming out. And some people who live locally who are thinking of investing in the area, asking for information and what they should buy and where and so on. They're not ready to do so, but it's just building up the trust with them and guiding them through it, and they're very promising by saying that they'll come back and speak to you some more. So it's just the green shoots basically, and building up the trust element and building up the relationships with people. So it works.
Good stuff.
That's it. Cheers.
How long have you been doing it?
6 months now, since the beginning of the year. is, yeah.
Any-
To show something.
Anyone else wants to share some good news? Anyone? Come up, Jenny. Yeah. You've just sold a property. Well done. First one of the month. Here you go. Cheers, darling.
Two things for us. One is that we've just been offered sponsorship by a local estate agent for our blog, which is quite amusing. Turn them down, sadly. They obviously haven't spotted who is writing it. And the other thing is we had a couple come in the other day. We are one of a few that is just a letting agent in our area. Most are both. And they have offered to pay us to help them find the best property for their buy-to-let needs.
Property sourcing. Thank you, Jenny.
How long you been doing
When did I come? February, March, I
March.
think I came. Yeah, March.
And Jenny's actually the owner of the lettings dog.
I own the lettings dog.
There you go.
He sleeps now.
I know some of you are coming up. I've asked you to do specific slots later on, and I'll ask you to come up for that. How are we doing? Are we okay for time? Good. Good stuff. Right, okay. Your job is to grab the attention of landlords because you're all here as letting agents to do one thing. Are you in lettings because you feel that you're on a mission and you want to save the world from bad letting agents? No, you're here because you want to earn money. Call me old-fashioned, but that is what you are here for. So everyone here owns their own business or are senior members in their own team. And you're here to earn money so money can buy you things. The thing is, though, that's what you want, but you actually have to earn 3 things before you can earn money. You have to earn their attention. Then you have to earn their interest. Then you earn their trust. The biggest thing in landlord farming, and all of you who are at that it's the month 4 or 5, is that tipping point. That 3 or 4 where you are flogging your guts out and nothing's coming back. You have to hold your nerve. Mr. Kelly, are you happy to come up? I didn't ask you for this one, but are you happy to come up and because you had that, didn't you? Can you? I know I didn't ask you specifically for this particular one, but I'd love it. It just dropped into my mind. Can you talk about your time when, it was getting a bit wobbly, wasn't it? What wrong word? But you were, tell your own story.
Yeah, I probably started in October last year. Came on the course in July, and I found nothing happened. I spoke to Chris quite a lot, and it was probably spring this year when things really started to move. And I've got landlords or investors now that email me every day, and they email me Rightmove links. They say, what can I get for this? Is it worth this? Should I buy this? They ask me for advice every day, and I've converted lots of landlords now who I've been talking to for at least 3 months. But I had a real wobble. And thought, this isn't working. Should I be spending money on the newspaper ads? I'm spending £1,000 a month putting the stories in every week. Is that more than I should be spending? And there's no way of knowing whether that money in the newspaper gets any return, because people don't call and say, I saw your thing in the newspaper. They always say, I found you on Google, even though I wasn't doing any online ads. So, it does work, but you've got to kind of stick to it.
And how many landlords have you got on your books now, if you don't mind me asking?
We've got 30 properties, so...
Good stuff. And how many in the pipeline?
Oh, loads. Absolutely loads.
10, 20, 30 probably?
Probably above 30, I'd say.
So you started in October, and we are now 9 months later. You've got 30 properties on your books directly from Landlord Farming, with another 30 or so to come in. This is what it's all about, guys, is that you're planting seeds, and just like a farmer plants the seed, you put the apple pip into the ground, you're not going to have an apple tree in a year's time. Yes, some of you are going to be planting cress, which will come up straight away. There's some of you around this room who got, I know one person who got a landlord of 30 properties after the first week. Talk about luck. I know one agent that actually had no business for 9 months. Not a thing. Fortunately, he can't be here today. Now people walk into his office and say, I want to talk to him. Honestly, and he is getting constantly landlords. You are planting seeds today, which some of it will be cress, which you'd be lucky to get now. Some of it will be wheat that you might come to fruition in 3 or 4 months' time. And some of it might be apple pips that might take 2 or 3 years to come to fruition. But just think how many apples you get. And let's be honest, we all like a pint of cider, don't we?
Sure.
Lovely. Anything else?
Yeah, there's also the Barclays Bank event. I don't know whether you want me to talk about that later.
I want to talk to you. I want you to talk about. Well, we can do it now if you want. Yeah, go for it now.